Chapter 4 of The People of the Crater by Andre Norton. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 4 The Defeat of the Ancient Ones. In the days before the lands of the outer world were born of the sea, before even the land of the sun, Mu, and the land of the sea, Atlantis, arose from molten rock and sand, there was land here in the far south. A sere land of rock plains and swamps where slimy life mated, lived, and died. Then came the Ancient Ones from beyond the stars. Their race was already older than this earth. Their wise men had watched its birth rending from the sun. And when their world perished, taking most of their blood into nothingness, a handful fled hither. But when they climbed from their spaceship, it was into hell, for they had gained, in place of their loved home, bare rock and stinking slime. They blasted out this Tav and entered into it with the treasures of their flying ships, and also certain living creatures captured in the swamps. From these they produced the folk, the Gibi, the Tand, and the land-tending Iran. Among these the folk were eager for wisdom and climbed high. But still the learning of the Ancient Ones remained beyond their grasp. During the eons the Ancient One dwelt within their protecting wall of haze, the outer world changed. Cold came to the north and south. The land of sun and the land of sea arose to bear the foot of true man. On their mirrors of seeing, the Ancient Ones watched man-life spread across the world. They had the power of prolonging life, but still the race was dying. From without must come new blood. So certain men were summoned from the land of the sun. Then the race flourished for a space. The Ancient Ones decided to leave Tav for the outer world, but the sea swallowed the land of sun. Again, in the time of the land of sea, the stock within Tav was replenished, and the Ancient Ones prepared for exodus. Again the sea treated them. Those men left in the outer world reverted to savagery. Since the Ancient Ones would not mingle their blood with that of almost beasts, they built the haze wall stronger and remained. But a handful of them were attracted by the forbidden, and secretly they summoned the beast men. Of that monstrous mating came the Black Ones. They live but for the evil they may do, and the power which they acquired is debased and used to forward cruelty. At first their sin was not discovered. When it was, the others would have slain the offspring but for the law which forbids them to kill. They must use their power for good, or it departs from them. So they drove the Black Ones to the southern end of Tav and gave them the caves of darkness. Never were the Black Ones to come north of the river of gold, nor were the Ancient Ones to go south of it. For perhaps 2,000 years the Black Ones kept the law, but they worked, building powers of destruction. While matters rested thus, the Ancient Ones searched the world, seeking men by whom they could renew the race. Once there came some men from an island far to the north. 6 lived to penetrate the mists and take wives among the daughters. Again they called the yellow-haired men of another breed great sea rovers. But the Black Ones called too. As the Ancient Ones searched for the best, the Black Ones brought in great workers of evil, and at last they succeeded in shutting off the channels of sending thought, so that the Ancient Ones could call no more. Then did the Black Ones cross the river of gold and enter the land of the Ancient Ones. Thrawn, dweller in the light and lord of the caverns, summoned the folk to him. "There will come one to aid you," he told us. "Try the summoning again after the Black Ones have seemed to win. Thrala, daughter of the light, will not enter into the room of pleasant death with the rest of the women, but will give herself into the hands of the Black Ones, that they may think themselves truly victorious. You of the folk withdraw into the place of reptiles until the Black Ones are gone. Nor will all the Ancient Ones perish. More will be saved, but the manner of their preservation I dare not tell. When the sun-haired youth comes from the outer world, send him into the caves of darkness to rescue Thrala and put an end to evil." And then the Lady Thrala arose and said softly, "As the Lord Thrawn has said, so let it be. I shall deliver myself into the hands of the Black Ones, that their doom may come upon them." Lord Thrawn smiled upon her as he said, "So will happiness be your portion. After the great mists does not light come again?" The women of the Ancient Ones then took their leave and passed into the place of pleasant death, while the men made ready for battle with the Black Ones. For 3 days they fought, but a new weapon of the Black Ones won the day, and the chief of the Black Ones set up this throne of jet as proof of his power. Since, however, the Black Ones were not happy in the caverns, longing for the darkness of their caves, they soon withdrew, and we, the folk, came forth again. But now the time has come when the Dark Ones will sacrifice the daughter to their evil. If you can win her free, Outlander, they shall perish as if they had not been." "What of the Ancient Ones?" asked Garin. "These others Thrawn said would be saved." "Of those we know nothing, save that when we bore the bodies of the fallen to the place of ancestors, there were some missing. That you may see the truth of this story, Urg will take you to the gallery above the room of pleasant death, and you may look upon those who sleep there." Urg guiding, Garin climbed a steep ramp leading from the Hall of Thrones. This led to a narrow balcony, one side of which was clear crystal. Urg pointed down. They were above a long room whose walls were tinted jade green. On the polished floor were scattered piles of cushions. Each was occupied by a sleeping woman, and several of these clasped a child in their arms. Their long hair rippled to the floor. Their curved lashes made dark shadows on pale faces. "But they are sleeping," protested Garin. Urg shook his head. "It is the sleep of death. Twice each 10 hours, vapors rise from the floor. Those breathing them do not wake again, and if they are undisturbed, they will lie thus 1,000 years. Look there." He pointed to the closed double doors of the room. There lay the first men of the Ancient Ones Garin had seen. They too seemed asleep, their handsome heads pillowed on their arms. Thrawn ordered those who remained after the last battle in the Hall of Thrones to enter the room of pleasant death, that the Black Ones might not torture them for their beastly pleasures. Thrawn himself then remained behind to close the door, and so died. There were no aged among the sleepers. None of the men seemed to count more than 30 years, and many of them appeared younger. Garin remarked upon this. The Ancient Ones appeared thus until the day of their death, though many lived twice 100 years. The light rays kept them so. Even we of the folk can hold back age. But come now, our Lord Tarar would speak with you again. End of Chapter 4.